I wanted to continue talking about Metroid today, but my little cat might die, and I don't know if he will or not. But I really want him to be okay. My cat's name is Gon. G-O-N, like the character from Hunter x Hunter. His brother's name is Killua. He's a flame point Siamese with an apple-shaped head. Little orange ears and blue eyes. He's the biggest of all my cats. He's incredibly sweet and also shy. But he gets really bold if you try to mess with him. And if you try to start a fight with him, he'll just smack the other cats on the head once, and then they'll respect him and leave him alone. Even one of my other cats who's really sassy respects him and doesn't try to mess with him. If you're not paying attention to him, he'll look at whatever you're paying attention to, and he'll walk over and lie on top of it, or try to get your attention, or push your hand away so that you'll look at him instead. If you don't do it, he'll start meowing at you incessantly and start complaining until you look at him. He'll keep trying to hint at your hand so that you'll pet him. And if you don't do it, he'll walk up to you and flip himself upside down. Either right next to you or right on top of what you're doing. He has this adorable meow. I call it an inverted meow, where he meows from the back of his throat instead of a normal meow, more from the front of the mouth. It kind of sounds like a it's very guttural when he gets when he really starts asking for food. He'll go like ah. When I first got my cat Killua was all alone. But he needed someone to hang out with. So he needed someone else. So we went and got his brother. And I remember the first day when we got him, Killua tried to smack him on the head, and I blocked Killua's hand from hitting him, and then that was it. He remembered that they were brothers after a few minutes, and they started getting along just fine and laying down with each other, and God, when he was little, he had a big head. It was noticeably bigger than the rest of his body, but he grew into it. Sorry, I'm dizzy. He he grew into it though. It got more proportional. He's incredibly sweet. all the all the other cats respect him. But they started getting along just fine, and he'd always try to find ways to get your attention, or he would just go find a comfortable spot and then flip himself upside down, and he would cover his eyes whenever whenever things were too bright, and he would always let you know if things weren't just right for him to sleep, and the moment you'd fix it, and he'd make it very obvious too, and the moment you'd fix it, he'd just he'd just flip himself upside down and cover his eyes and just take a nap. And he loved soft food so much, he would come running the moment he heard the crack of the can, even more than the others. He would just come bolting from across the house. He would come bolting from across the house. He has a stockier build, more apple-headed, while Killua has more of the typical Siamese build. But he would always come rushing for soft food. And I remember one time we had a I think it was a faux leather couch, and he accidentally fell into a corner, and he caught himself with his legs, but he couldn't get himself out. And I remember it was like something out of a cartoon. But it was really sad, but it was kind of cartoony, his little legs trying to pull himself out, and he started going, ah, ah, and I came running over, and I pulled him out of the gap between the wall and the couch. and he looked at me. He could tell that he had been saved from something he wouldn't have been able to get out of himself, and from that day his all the shyness he had towards me melted away. He would just look for me everywhere, just no matter what. And he would just come sit on my lap, or beg me for attention, or our entire relationship shifted after that, and he just felt no apprehension towards me anymore. You could tell he was so grateful. His eyes got all big. he just clung to me, and it was the sweetest thing I'd ever seen. He really made me feel like I'd saved someone, and plugged up the gap, and made sure that he would never be able to fall into it instead. And when I got my other cat, he was like a little boy. He became like a big brother to him. He was the only one who would tolerate his antics and his energy. And would even play with him at some points, while the others would just get annoyed with him. Hold on, I'm hyperventilating. I gotta catch my breath. all of my cats got hold on, I'm dizzy. I haven't eaten today yet. All of my cats have nicknames that I would give them, that I gave them. Oh, hold on, I'm dizzy. I need to lay down for a second. But but his nickname was the Prince of all cats. He's the most handsome cat that you've ever seen. He's gorgeous. He's beautiful. He's the most handsome cat in the entire world. He's the Prince of all cats. He's so humble and shy, but he but he knows his worth. He'll never let anyone put one over on him or take advantage of him. Like a prince, he would just take his paw and just with one movement just and let them know that he wasn't gonna stand for it, and they would respect him and and never do it again, or if they did, he would just shoot them. He had this particular look. He has such an expressive face, so much eye. So he conveys so much of his emotions through his eyes. Whether he's scared or whether he's happy, he does like this little eye smile with his eyes, or he'll do this like light happy squint and start blinking at you. And when he'd had enough of someone's antics, he would do this squint, like this death stare. And he would just look them down, just like, what are you doing? That's enough of that. No more of that now. Then he would go back to being so sweet and loving. He was already being sweet and loving, but he would just get stern all of a sudden, you know. And it was a good type of thing. The other person always got upset with him for not allowing the other cats to do whatever they wanted with him, and for causing trouble in their mind, but I always knew, like, no, this is important. He's helping to keep peace with all the other cats. And he oh, I remember this one time I took him to the vet. It was just a regular checkup, and he jumped out of his crate and hid under the seat, and he was trembling so much, and his eyes were so big, and his whole body was just shaking, and his ears were back, and I just grabbed him up and wrapped him in my arms, and and got him back later that day, and just held him. as long as I could, and he started to feel better. And and wherever he was, he dominated that spot. It was he really is the prince of all cats. But today, or a few days ago, I noticed he started losing weight, and his meow changed. His meow uninverted, and it went from his usual to a normal meow all of a sudden. And then I thought that was concerning, and then all of a sudden he stopped eating yesterday, and he started losing weight really fast, and he started wobbling, and he could barely walk, and when he landed, he would like fall, and it would take him a second to get back up. And I forgot to mention, just owing partly to his flame point Siamese, the blue eyes. He and his brother have very sensitive immune systems. They're very prone to getting they're very prone to different diseases, in particular dental disease. So he's lost a couple teeth, but he has healthy ones. He can still eat, but something else happened, and it caused him to stop eating. Both of them are more physically fragile, just overall health wise, than all the others. More susceptible, even though he's very strong when he's healthy. Hi, Erdrick. Oh, but he started getting really sick all of a sudden, and his usual soft food that he started running for, he wouldn't even. He ran for it at first, and his excitement, he ate half of it, but after that he slowed down, and then I tried to feed him more. Usually he would gobble up a whole can, but later he couldn't even eat a fourth of the can, and then he just stopped eating, and later he barfed out a good amount of it. So we I called the other person, as much as I didn't want to, his health is on the line, and the person was like, "Okay, I'll be there by 11:30," and then the person didn't show up till almost an hour and a half. 2 hours later, I had called the pet hospital and scheduled it for early on, and we didn't arrive till almost 2 hours later, because because the person spent an hour waiting for a shower to open up at the gym, even after I had called them and let them know that things were serious. And then they called me later and asked me, like, what's he doing? And I said, oh, he's taking a nap. And then the person said, oh, that must mean he's healthy now. That means he's good now. And the person was trying to do and say anything and ask in any way to try and get out of having to take him to the vet. And I got so so worried about him. I don't know if those 2 hours would have done anything for him, 1.5 to 2 hours, but man, he's in he's he was clearly just so feeble and weak, and 2 hours late, just waiting for a shower to open up at the gym. Just get in the car and drive over. And as we're driving there, the person is telling me that the person just has some obligatory, like, oh no, poor guy, sort of like this surface sadness, but then starts telling me that, you can get all the health update calls and just have them give me all the calls for if anything costs anything. And I'm just holding on to him in this crate in the back seat as he's so weak and feeble as this person is saying these things, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. My cat. I'm here for you right now. I'm here for you. And the person's just telling me how about like the just completely unrelated things about how I'm gonna need you to take over the cost for the house. Minimum $2,000 for all the basics. More if you want gas for your car. Just all these completely unrelated things. Just completely detached from what's happening, with the occasional obligatory worry. Just asking me when I'm gonna be able to take over all the costs, and when are you gonna you need to get that second job now, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just back there. He just spends 90% of the time talking about money and how I need to take over, and hoping that the vet visit doesn't cost much, and keeps trying to come up with different reasons why he's sick, most of which involve blaming me for not. Most of which of the reasons would be like implicating me in neglect, or not taking care of him, like him eating a piece of plastic or some kind of toy or something. And I'm just so disconnected in the back of the seat, just trying to think about what to do with him this whole time. But when we get there, I mean, it's very clear. The person at the front desk takes a look at him and touches him, and immediately goes into an emergency mode, runs back to get the doctor. And she's surprised by how late I am bringing him in. And he's very weak. He's lost a lot of weight. He's wobbling. Wouldn't eat hard food, not even his favorite soft food. Where he'd suddenly become a glutton. His whole princely demeanor would suddenly fade away, and he'd just gobble it up. And he didn't even put up a struggle when I went to check his teeth. Usually he turns it into into some kind of like wrestling match, and he's very good at it, but he couldn't even resist me just like wiping his teeth down and giving him a little toothbrushing when I was checking on that. he didn't he didn't even have the strength to purr the last time that I held it. He was just out of it. I wrapped him in a heating blanket while he was sleeping, so that helped, and then I realized I was warmer, so I took him out of the crate, and I held him really tight. Well, not too tight, but I held him, give him all the warmth, and he couldn't even purr. And he has the sweetest purr. He'll even respond back if you purr back to him. It's the sweetest thing. You go. It sounds like him blowing bubbles. It's so adorable. And he'll just like partly close his eyes and flex his little paw at you and just like, flip his head upside down on your chest and try and get into a position where you can pet him more. It turns out his kidneys are in bad shape. His phosphorus is high. He already has a weaker constitution from other cats. The person asked me if he wanted CPR or if anything happened, if I just wanted to let him pass away. And she came to me with the quality of life stuff. And at some point that they might have to let him go, and that it would take a lot to get him back to normal. So, just considering letting him go and letting him die. And the kind of life he would live if he survived. Yeah. um but yeah, he's in pretty rough shape. His heartbeat was low. His heart rate was lower than normal. His white blood cell count was way high. His temperature was low. He was cold. I don't know if I already said, but no, I don't think I did. But they wrapped him up in lots of heat. She told me they wrapped him up in lots of heat and warmth, and that he stood up, and that he perked up, and that he gladly ate like a treat that they gave him. But that he's apparently he has something called wet type FIP. That he developed it, but that there's a treatment that's come, but it's advanced enough that there has to be a concern. Prepare for the possibility that he might not make it through today. And that might be the last time that I see him, or that I have to be prepared that he could go away, he could die soon, or that he could possibly survive. Yeah. And I'm trying not to cry in the vet room, and I managed not to for the most part, and then it's like $5,000, $10,000 to send him to an ER. I don't have that money. But but then after that, they told me all the treatment options. Apparently he has some anemia, that they're going to try their best, and that they're going to give him fluids and things like that, and nutrients. Then when I got back to the car, the person was like, "Did you hear the bill amount?" Trying to charge $700. I can't wait till you get a second job, because that's going to help with all the vet payments. Probably just give him some antibiotics and a change of food, and that'll help. And then after that, I was just out of it. Just like, no, this I shouldn't listen to I can't listen to this person right now. I'm gone. Gone. But yeah, we're on the way there, and she's pointing out like all kinds of stuff. She describes me as she sees a bus driving by that takes people to work, and she starts looking up the requirements for it while she's driving, and starts telling me like I'm below the poverty line, which I am. uh, it makes it clear that you know this person already sees me on my own. They don't even see necessarily the support that they're providing right now. Just directly, just to me, just describe me as like, yeah, you're below the poverty line. You should sign up for that drive to work bus. It'll alleviate my gas tank. That's its own thing. But then we get back home, and we get another call, and it's just like further explanations from the hospital, pretty much what they just like further in his condition. It made me so happy to hear them say that she said he's been an angel, and he is. My God, he's the prince of all cats. Naturally, he's an angel. That he's acting and behaving so well. He has composure. He has comportment. He's a prince after all. No other cat has his dignity and stature. It doesn't mean I love the others any less. I love them just as much, and even more in their own specific ways, but it all balances out. But he's the one there can only be one prince. There can only be one prince of all cats. But they told me that he's an angel. That he's been an angel. But the other person, they started trying to get me into fear, started telling me like we need to just give up all the others to adoption. And they started telling me all kinds of things like, well, we can't give him up for adoption. He's sick now, so the shelters will never take him. You better hurry and give the others up to adoption before they get sick and the shelters realize it and they won't take them anymore. And just, all kinds of things like you can't provide for them and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't say a thing. I was just quiet, just kept a neutral and stoic face and position, and just waited for the person to stop talking. And oh man, the person scared me so much. Just like, it's infectious. They could all have it, and it could be. And of course, the other person grabs onto that. They're gonna die, and you don't want to go through all that grief, do you? And there's no way they're not sick, and all kinds of stuff, telling me all these things, using fear and stuff to try and pressure me into a decision. I got so scared, and I walked in and I saw my other 4 cats, and I was just like eagle-eyeing them to see if there was any abnormalities at all. But the one thing that irritated me the most was the person brought up a previous thing with birds. The thing about the other person is that they impulse got all the pets and ultimately just laid them all on me to take care of. They're more accessory to the other person. And this wasn't the first time the person has brought up just giving them up for adoption. This is just another opportunity to do it, but mostly just regarding the inconvenience of them and things like that. Just the person was never really connected to them in any true emotional way. And so they're pretty much just ready to give them up at a moment's notice. But it was so odd. The person called me afterwards and just said, well, they were just like, go in and research shelters to give them up to and all kinds of stuff. And then the person called me later and said, I wanted to call you and tell you, just in case, I'm already grieving gone. It's like, okay. Why aren't you just doing it? Why did you feel the need to call me and tell me that? That doesn't strike me as an average, normal thing to do. Why? Alright. And then the person hung up, and then I got a call from the hospital, and they said he's not in tip-top condition, and he's still critical, but that they're doing what they can for him, and eventually they can't keep him overnight, so eventually we'll have to go grab him up. And then I started asking all kinds of questions like, are my other cats at risk, and what's the infection like, and thankfully the person told me just like, yeah, no, there's not much of a... Of course, the person was like, I can't give you any advice, that's up to you to discuss and talk about and all that. And, but the person did, slip through that, like, yeah, no, if your cats do have this, there's no point in giving them to a shelter that's going to be a risk to other cats and other homes and things like that. And enough to alleviate enough of my worries to clear my head a bit and to start researching a little into this whole thing. And I do feel a little better. Well, for one, I learned that feline infectious peritonitis, FIP, is not contagious, but that the common harmless feline coronavirus that causes it is highly contagious and spreads easily between cats. But that FIP develops when an individual cat's own FCOV mutates, triggered by weakened immune system predispositions, which Gon definitely has, or stress. And I know my cats are definitely not stressed. They live very happy lives. Very peaceful. They just nap all day and eat, and they're just happy. But thankfully I learned that the mutated FIP virus isn't shed to spread it doesn't get shed and spread across cats. It only happens when FCOV mutates. And hold on, I'm trying to look up something really quick. Yeah, thankfully I learned that FCOV, feline coronavirus, it's just incredibly common. It's an incredibly common It's an incredibly common virus. It spreads around easy. There's like nothing you can do about it. And then in most cases, it's not fatal. It is considered nearly impossible to completely prevent from spreading in a multi-cat environment. A low-stress environment, good nutrition, and proper preventative care support a strong immune system, which helps cats fight off FCOV and reduces the likelihood of a mutation into FIP. Only 5% of FCOV infected cats develop FIP, which is nice to know. While it's extremely common, only a small percentage, around 5% or less, develops fatal feline infectious peritonitis, with higher risks for immune-compromised cats where mutations are more likely to happen. FCOV is common virus, but FIP is rare. Arises from a specific mutation. Oh, yeah, earlier I was talking about the person in the past. We had a bird thing. We had birds, and the person made a fatal mistake that ended up letting the birds out of the crate into the environment around, and we never saw them again. Made a fatal error with their crate, but then the person tried to use that and shifted the blame to that they didn't give them up for adoption soon enough. And while I was sitting there hearing that, I was thinking to myself, like, no, I was there. The issue wasn't that you didn't give them up for adoption. The issue is that you made a fatal error with their containment, and the way you treated them and placed them around, it was so prone to error. Of course that happened. Had nothing to do with you're trying to use that right now for these other cats and their adoption, but that doesn't make any sense. And I get so worried just looking at my other cats and feeling them to see if they're losing weight. But right now I just gotta focus on Gon's comfort and care, and keeping an eye of the others, and realistic risks, make steady decisions. It's not time to uproot everything. The person called me to say that they're already grieving him as if he's already dead. But he's not yet. I'm not gonna get rid of them. Even if they do all die on me, it would have happened one day eventually. I admit I live much longer than these cats. I'll accept it no matter if it's sooner or later. I'd prefer later. I prefer never, but The disease we call FIP happens when a very common feline coronavirus mutates inside an individual cat. The mutated form, the one that actually causes FIP, does not spread from cat to cat. FIP develops individually after mutation, not through transmission. But of course, the feline coronavirus, which can become FIP, is contagious. And it is extremely common. Most cats who get it never develop FIP. Only a small percentage, often under 10%, or as we just learned a few minutes ago, around 5%, well, only 5% ever experience the mutation that leads to FIP. What this means for your other cats, if they've lived together, they've likely already been exposed to feline coronavirus long before now. Exposure does not mean they will develop FIP. Stress, genetics, and individual immune responses play a bigger role in whether FIP develops. And of course, they do live in a very healthy, stress-free, calm, enriching, as much as I can, enrich them environment. A strong immune system can suppress or even clear feline coronavirus, but complete clearance isn't the most common outcome. Many cats simply become asymptomatic or intermittent carriers. Most cats suppress the virus rather than 100% eliminating it, meaning they may shed it intermittently. They show no symptoms at all. Their immune system keeps it under control. A healthy adult cat with a strong immune system often handles feline coronavirus without any illness. Many cats live their entire lives with feline coronavirus exposure and never develop FIP. Everyone is behaving normally. Not showing any symptoms, eating normally. They seem healthy. No sudden weight loss. Some of them are skinny, but they've always been. FECV is extremely common. There's no reliable way to prevent exposure in multi-cat homes. Even the most careful, loving, responsible cat guardians can't fully control it. It spreads easily. Most cats encounter it at some point, and most never get sick from it. The mutation that turns FECV into FIP happens inside an individual cat's body. It's not something you can stop through cleaning, separation, or any kind of management. Even veterinarians can't predict or prevent it. Be attentive, be informed, watch cats with care, not panic. If your other cats seem healthy right now, that's a good sign. Most cats exposed to FECV never develop FIP, and nothing about keeping them with you increases their risk. And none of them seem to have any of the signs or the symptoms that would indicate that they have it. A fever that doesn't respond to normal treatment, a clear drop in appetite, low energy that's out of character, gradual weight loss, swelling, belly swelling, fluid, eye changes, wobbliness. Yes, my other cats are eating normally, playing and acting like themselves, maintaining their weight, not running fevers, not withdrawing or acting weak, or, are weak. Don't adopt someone else's fear. Don't adopt someone else's pressure. Don't adopt someone else's anxiety. I saw someone else who said something that most likely is not actually. I saw someone who said something that, from reading it, is pretty clearly a misinterpretation of the thing. Thankfully, it was more of just like from what I read, it was more of just a coincidental cluster, but 99.9999% of everything I'm saying is saying that FIP is not contagious. It doesn't spread. Just staying informed. A cluster does not mean one cat gave FIP to another, or that the mutated virus spread. Veterinary research is extremely consistent on this point. FIP does not spread between cats. Each cat's mutation happens inside their own body, not because a cat transmitted FIP to them. Imagine 6 people in the same house all getting food poisoning, but not because they infected each other, but because they were all exposed. But because they all ate the same spoiled food. With FIP, the spoiled food is FECV exposure, stress, age, genetics, predisposition. But each cat's mutation happens inside their own body, not because another cat transmitted FIP to them. That is relieving in its own way. It means that, if it happens, it's just entirely due to the individual, not from necessarily anything that you did or another cat did or anything like that. Which I'm grateful for. They all developed it on their own. In their own bodies, on their own conditions, on their own paths. And something else I saw that was comforting is cats are commonly cured of feline infectious peritonitis with modern antiviral treatments like GS441524, achieving high success rates of over 80 to 90%, with wet having an even higher response rate. That is supported by current veterinary evidence. Very high survival rates when treated properly. The one thing I'm worried about is that he was in a pretty... I hope I caught it early enough, but Gon was in a pretty notably negative state when we got him there, and I'm sure those it's 2 hours, 1.5 to 2 hours. 94.12 survival rate. Another reports a survival rate of over 85%, and another of success rates around 92% when protocols are followed correctly. These numbers are consistent, and that wet has a higher success rate. But what this means in practice, if a cat is diagnosed with FIP today, treatment is long, typically 12 weeks or more, requires consistent dosing and monitoring, but the majority of cats survive and go on to live normal lives. When there's signs that the illness is affecting multiple systems, those tell you that the body is struggling, but they don't tell you about what you should have done. They don't tell you anything about what you should have done or whether you failed him. You didn't. This disease behaves brutally and unpredictably. There's no way to predict what will happen to Gon. These are signs that the illness is advanced and the body is struggling. In many cases, this is the stage where veterinarians talk with the family about comfort, quality of life, and the possibility that the end may be near. But that doesn't mean that he will pass today, or that there's no hope, or that you should give up on him. Emotionally, it doesn't mean that you're in a moment where preparing yourself... It means that you're in a moment where preparing yourself is compassionate for him and for you. What you can expect emotionally, that his energy may fluctuate. He may seek closeness or become very quiet. He may have moments of alertness and maybe feel like he's turning a corner. He may also have moments where you can feel he's tired. These are ups and downs. These ups and downs are common near the end of any serious illness, not just FIP. Gon doesn't know that he's sick in the way humans do. He knows your voice, your touch, your presence, the safety of being near you. And that's what will matter to him, no matter how long he has. And it's okay to prepare your heart. It's okay to hope for more time. It's okay to be terrified of losing him. It's okay to sit with him and just be there. You're trying to be ready, trying to understand, and trying to do right by him. The image of him cold, struggling, and then suddenly perking up when he was warmed says something really beautiful about who he is and how much life he still wants to hold on to. Cats who are very sick often stop responding to the world, but God stood up. He ate, he drank, he showed them that spark that makes him him. It doesn't erase how serious his condition is, but it does tell you something important. He still feels comfort. He still feels care, and he still responds to love and warmth. And the staff seeing him as an angel, that's not a throwaway phrase. It means he was gentle with them, trusting and sweet even while he felt awful. That's a reflection of the life he's had with you. Cats don't behave like that unless they've been loved consistently and deeply. What they've described is often what happens when a cat is very sick but still has moments of clarity and comfort. It doesn't predict the future, but it does mean he isn't suffering alone. He's still experiencing things that feel good. He's still connected to the world and the people caring for him. The people caring for him. And that matters so much. It made me happy, but it broke my heart all at the same time. There's no one else to take care of him. Truly, there's no one else. And the only other person with the possibility who could do it just wants to offload the rest of them and already thinks he's dead. that person's already getting it out of the way. I'm the only one left who can really take care of him like that. I'll be the only one here. Whether he lives for decades after today, or it's sometime soon, I'll still be the only one there, holding him and looking at him when it happens. Even if there are other eyes looking at him, no one else will be looking at him the same way as me. And he won't be looking at anyone else the same way that he sees me. I don't want God to die. I want him to stay alive and to keep being my prince. He should be mine forever. I want him to stay. And to be so happy and healthy. If he goes today, he'll never have gotten to experience the home I could give him. And I'll have never gotten to experience what it was like to be totally safe and stable and healthy with him. He wouldn't have made it to the home that I could provide for him. Please, God, I want you to still be there, being held in my arms with your funny little meow, the way you look at me. In our home. Where we're not afraid anymore. Please make it to that and beyond. Don't go before then. I want one more picture of you while you're alive. I want to take a picture of you. I never got many pictures of you. It was always few and far between. But I want another. While you're still able to look at me. And I want more long after that. While you're still so alive and vital. And I want you to keep being vital and healthy. And I pray to God that you can keep with me. And that I can have you. And I keep having the privilege of having you. as long as I possibly can. I'm sorry for hyperventilating so much. Relief, because hearing that he perked up, that he ate, drank, and responded to warmth. He's still himself in flashes. He's still here. He's still feeling comfort. It gives you a moment to breathe. And a heartbreak because you know he's very sick. And those bright moments don't erase the fear of what might come next. They also make it sharper because you're reminded of the cat you love so deeply. And the cat who loves you so deeply in return. Those two feelings can sit right next to each other without canceling each other out. You can feel grateful he had a moment of comfort and connection, and devastated that he's struggling. You could feel proud of him for living and fighting and terrified of losing him. You could feel hope and grief in the same breath. None of that means you're confused or doing anything wrong. It means you love him, and you're trying to hold on to every piece of him, while also bracing yourself for what might happen. Even when a body is fighting or failing or healing, the relationship doesn't vanish. The trust, the comfort, the sense of safety he feels with you, that stays. It's one of the last things animals hold on to. I want to be able to talk about what his love has looked like, where he made me laugh and comforted me and surprised me. But for now, I'm ready to just, I'm gonna go to the vet and see him, and that'll be it for today. For right now, I'm gonna go. I've gotta stop for right now before I overwhelm myself too much. I made it back home from the vet. God is here with me. He's laying down on the he's laying down on one of the seats. His temperature's back up, but the doctor kept telling me that she doesn't think he'll make it through the night, or that it's possible that he won't make it through the night. They were already discussing funeral services and things like that, but thankfully, being there in front of the doctor, the other person, knew it would be good to show that, having faith in God and buying the medication for the FIP, but the medication won't be in for another week, unfortunately. He's a little more alert than he was this morning, and he's even able to get up and walk around, and he's watching me as I move about. If you hear my other cats in the background, it's because I have to keep them in a separate room from him right now, so that he doesn't get too overwhelmed. But, yeah, they don't think, well, the doctor doesn't think he'll make it through the night. On the car drive there, the person told me there's not going to be any charity, there isn't going to be any hope. What do we do if he passes away on us at home, which is obviously what's going to happen? But fortunately, she did end up paying for at least the first round of medication. But for that, Gon needs to survive tonight, and he needs to survive long enough to show that he's on the path to recovery. And I just need to pray that he survives the next 24 hours, and even beyond. I don't want this little cat to just be a memory. Have him while he's right here in front of me. Hey. No. I love you with all my heart, Gon. I wish you had a stronger constitution, and that I had some way to help, but I don't. And I don't have money to pay for more medication. I gotta rely on someone else on that for you, or pay for vet bills. I still gotta rely on someone else for that. I'm sorry I didn't make it there, Gon, before you got sick like this. But you're here with me now, and I want to make this a happy night that I spend with you. I have at least one recording of your purr. It's in one of these journals even while you were sitting on my lap. Oh, your you do have a lot of fluid in your stomach. I'm sorry I don't have the money to send you to the ER so you can get it removed. I'm sorry I don't have the means to get you support all the way till the medication comes. I'm sorry if you die tonight, but I want you to live. Please. Whether it's some kind of miracle and you're healed completely, or you can just hold out until that medicine arrives. Oh, here, I'll help you up. There you go, rest on the pillow. I know you like to rest on the pillow. There you go. There you go, guys. I got you there. Well, I'm gonna stop here and set things up and get myself something to eat and make sure he's stays warm and safe, and we'll see tomorrow how things go. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Waxing and waning and fading away. The moonlight's glow does and disappear. Moonbeam in darkness, moon gleam in the shade. Oh, when will I see my dear moonlight again? Do 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 do. I love you, God.